Hi, today you will learn how you can disable inputs or buttons or any element on the page using Ngx-permissions library. As always, this is basic project. The only difference, I've already installed Angular material to show you how you can disable it, because it's kind of unique case. So let's navigate to our component HTML file and insert simple input tag. Just check that everything works. As you can see, everything is worked perfectly. Now we need to make this input disabled. Let's navigate to our component TS file. We start with adding Ngx permissions only to the input. And let's say that is available only to the user who has edit permission. By default, it will remove element from DOM. We can override default behavior providing authorized and unauthorized strategy. Let's first add authorized strategy and then unauthorized strategy. And it takes function as parameter. Let's name first function authorized and second unauthorized. And we need to implement them in component TS file. So let's navigate to it. First, we need to import renderer2 service. This is a recommended way of working with native elements to ensure same behavior across different platforms. Let's define authorized function. It's a function that takes template reference as parameter and returns void. The same for unauthorized, so I will just copy. Unfortunately, with renderer2, you cannot use normal declaration of the function because this will be lost and it will not work. Also, template ref is an optional parameter for authorized and unauthorized function. And now, in unauthorized, we need to find element in DOM and set disable parameter to false. To show you exactly what I mean, let's navigate to the application and open Chrome DevTools. We need to find this input element in DOM, and as you can see, Angular puts directive after the element. So we need to get access to the directive element and then use previous sibling to access input element. You can have different logic depending on your case. Let's jump back to the code. Now let's use renderer2 to disable the element. We type renderer2 set attribute, we pass the element. In our case, it will be templates reference, element reference, native element, and previous sibling. Then we pass the parameter. In our case, it's disabled, and we set it to true. And in authorized, we want to remove attribute. Renderer2 has method remove attribute, and it requires element. In our case, the same. I will just copy. And what attribute we want to remove? We want to remove disabled. Let's check. As you can see, it's disabled. Now, need to test if the input is enabled when user has permissions. So we navigate to our main component. And in the main component, we need to import Ngx-permissions service. And use this service in ng-on-init to load edit permission. Let's navigate back to the application, and it's enabled, so everything works correctly. If we navigate back to component HTML file, we will see that it's tedious to provide these authorized and unauthorized strategies in HTML everywhere, in every input. We can define them in one place and use as we need. Let's navigate to main component, and we will need to import Ngx-permissions configuration service. And in configuration service, we have method add strategy. It takes the name of the strategy and function. Let's name disable strategy and copy code from our component just to reuse it. We also need to import renderer2 in constructor. And we need enable strategy. Let's pass enable as name of the strategy, and we need to copy the code again. Now we can use the strategy using only the name. Let's command that the user has permissions so the input will be disabled. Navigating to our HTML and replacing function with name of the strategies. So instead of authorized, just string enable, and instead of unauthorized, just string disable. Let's check the application. It works. If you only want to disable and enable elements without hiding, you can set this as default strategy in your whole application. Navigate to main component, and in configuration service, we can set default authorized strategy to enabled and default unauthorized to disable. Let's navigate back to HTML file and remove all strategies. Back to application. It works. The input is disabled. If you need to remove element from the DOM, you can use two predefined strategies. It's remove and show. We go back to HTML file, and we need authorized and unauthorized strategies. And let's pass show and remove. Navigate back to the application. As you can see, the input is removed. Now, let's check on disable on another element, for example, button. Navigating back and add button that is only enabled for the user with edit permissions. Let's name it subscribe. Totally not hidden advertisement, just a randomly selected name. And remove input. We don't need it anymore. Back to the application. Everything is great. Button is disabled. But what will happen if I change this button to material? Let's check. Back to HTML, and let's add raised button and set color to accent. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. I will show you two options how to fix it. First option, we navigate to main component and postpone setting disabled attribute. We can achieve this with set timeout. Let's add set timeout, and also we will need to add class mod button disabled. In renderer, we have method add class that takes element and class name. So we will pass our button, and the class name is mod button disabled. Let's check. Everything works. The button is disabled, but it's kind of a hack and it can break. And another option, more robust, is to use local variable. Let's go back to our component and comment all the strategies code. Back to our HTML file, we will need ng template syntax. Be careful, it's not star syntax. And we'll say that it is only available to the user with edit permissions. Because we use ng template syntax, we have access to two methods, permission authorized and permission unauthorized. In permission authorized, we will set is authorized to true. And in permission unauthorized, we will set is authorized to false. Now navigate to our component TS file, and let's add this variable of type boolean, and initial is false. Now back to our HTML, we can remove Ngx-permissions only in button and set disable parameter to opposite of is authorized. And this is how you can disable Angular material component. That's it. If you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. And for more information about how to disable form, please navigate to this video. Should be here. Should be somewhere here.